Hello, this is Bill Riddick, graduate of North Carolina A&T. No, I can't even bring myself to say that. But I can tell you that as a professor at Shaw University, I was responsible for bringing whites and blacks together in the new movie Best of Enemies. I'm here with the Color Commentary crew where they give you, what is it, views from a different side or something like that. And now, if I could just channel my inner Ann Atwater concerning our show here, you may not like our show, but you damn sure better listen to what we have to say. Excuse me, I don't know what came over me right there. We're gonna have a charrette real quick, where we're gonna have two opposing views and let them talk about things and work it out. Let's go ahead and get our first guest on, Mr. Chuck Taylor. He's
What's up, guys?
representing the Black Empowerment Movement. How you doing there, sir?
What? What's the little symbol? I don't even know. West side? I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm doing good, guys. But yeah, I'm here with Cafe's Party Easy. I'm ready to view. We got a few movies tonight, so I can't wait to get into it. Have I guess a few different type of opinions about the movies. Can't say I love everything about what we saw, but I'm ready to go. What about you?
All right, I'm ready to go as well, sir. From the other side here, we have someone that is representing the NAACP. So completely different sides, completely different angles here. And as soon as he turns his camera on, I will go ahead and introduce our other guest here whenever he's ready to turn his camera on. Don't know if he's ready to cut it. There he is. And to make sure he cuts his microphone on as well. He's a brand new guest, so you guys work with him a little bit here. Just work with him. He's gonna be ready. There you go. Make sure you cut your mic on. There he is. He's coming. There you go. It's all about bringing people together and cutting the mic on. Yeah, and cutting your camera back off. So there he is, Mister. There's our next up, and he went away again one last time. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. Oh wait, here he is.
Hey, I just came from that. I just came from 1971. I just got used to this new technology here. You know what I mean? You know, I'm here for the NAACP. I'm the guest feature. My name is Frank Puna, and Mr. Riddick. I'm glad you brought me on the show, and Charlie, I'm glad you brought me on the show as well. And I'm ready to represent the NAACP. Thank you for bringing me on the Color Commentary show.
Fantastic. And of course, I'm Rashad Waters, the owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, the company that sells you music and instruments to marching bands all across the nation. Let's get into this movie here. The movie Best of Enemies depicts the true story of civil rights activist Ann Atwater as she goes up against C.P. Ellis, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, for school integration. The movie actually takes place right here in my hometown and where I am right now, Durham, North Carolina. So I was very excited to see this movie. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Mr. Chuck Taylor, what you want to say about this movie? Oh, by the way, guys, this is the non-spoiler review, so we're not going to give away a lot of information. Just, tell us your overall thoughts.
No problem. Let's see. Like you, I'm a Durhamite, so I'm also in Durham. So I'm pretty shocked to see that we had a movie about Durham. I was like, something happened in Durham that was worth making a movie on besides baseball. It's like, okay, I didn't know any of these people existed before the movie.
The movie Along Came a Spider took place in Durham. That's where a bunch of people get murdered.
Oh, I don't know if I watched that one. When did that come out?
Early 2000s, maybe. Morgan Freeman.
That was in North Carolina. I actually think I did see it now. They said Morgan Freeman was in it. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. So I mean, this movie, Best of Enemies. It was cool to actually see a story that was happened in the city I grew up in. Seeing the different struggles that my family and my mother and father and grandparents and them had to go through. Sometimes I kind of forget when kind of we see these movies and we always think like Mississippi and Texas and someplace else, where you have all these type of big racial movies, and you don't really think about right outside of your backyard. And like, oh yeah, my family went through the same thing with integration and and racism and not being able to drink at the same water fountain, go to the same stores, eat at the same restaurants, all that type of thing. And just thinking about like, wow, they don't even talk about it anymore. So they don't. It's hard to. I guess we kind of just forget about those type of things. But this movie definitely helps you to relate to how what the time was like, and was it 1971 when it took place?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of brings you right back in that time. Like, wow, it's a lot. Like we kind of think about slavery, and then we think about like Martin Luther King, and then we kind of forget about everything else. But things were still happening all over the country. And this, seeing this story brought to light just kind of shines, kind of makes you understand that, this was real. This is real. Everybody that was older had to go through this. And seeing the way that they used the two characters, Taraji and what's the
Sam Rockwell.
Sam.
Justin Hammer.
What is that? That's what I was like. I know him from somewhere because I just actually watched Iron Man 2 the other night, trying to complete the series before Endgame. But Justin Hammer. But they did their thing. I really enjoyed them. They both act. I mean, you can definitely tell that they understand how to be emotional in a film. Like they don't even have to talk. Especially Taraji, she can just give you the look of death. Mm-hmm. And like I'm like every aunt that or grandmother give you that look, like you just kind of just freeze up inside, like, okay, I need to just not do this. She might kill me, literally. So I've been working on that look. I can't get my kids to think of that look. Every time I try to give them a look like that, it's like, just throw something and just do it anyway. But this is not working here. They think I'm a joke. I need to learn this.
You have to be a woman to
teach me.
What's going on?
Like, learn the look. Teach my wife, learn that look. But yeah, they acted. Their acting was awesome. I guess the main thing that I can really say without really giving away a lot of the details in it, I felt that it was kind of borderline what we've been getting with some of these racial movies, with them kind of having a one-sided opinion, showing you, giving the mainly the white characters, what I'm talking about, more of the shine in the movie, like more of the backstory. I guess going after seeing the movie, I don't really know that much more from her point of view. What was her? I always want to say Taraji, but the actual actor
Anne Atwater.
Anne Atwater. So like I didn't know very much about Anne Atwater. I know she existed. I'm sorry, I didn't really know the history, but I don't know that much more about her now. After seeing the movie, they don't really give you that much details. They kind of just show you where she is. They don't really develop her. But I mean, I understand she's she's for housing, and she's a civil rights activist. But they don't really give you like the backstory, like really why she's doing what she's doing, why she's so passionate about it. What crazy things that happened to her that made her focus that this needs to be, something that needs to change. They kind of go more on the other side, and kind of let you know that he has a family. He has special. I can say like he has a son and stuff, right? It's not a spoiler, right?
No, that's in the trailer. Right?
Okay, let me make sure. But that he has family. He's focused on his beliefs and how he became this particular way. You see people that he's related to, so you kind of go when I kind of looking at the film, it's just kind of like, man, I wish they would have gave it a little bit more on the other side to really complete the arc of the movie. Mm-hmm. I think it did have a lot of good things. I did see. No, a lot of the characters they really portrayed. I mean, I guess the time, in 1971. I don't know exactly where it was shot and filmed, but it definitely with the way the hairdos, the cars, their the way they dress and talk, everything, made you feel that was that point in time, even though they just shot it, last year. So they did a really good job with, the core, with the attire and the makeup and everything. And they made Taraji look like old grandma. Was
right.
I mean, after seeing her in what's her last movie? What Men Want?
Uh-huh.
And just like, whoa. and then like, oh gosh, Taraji. So this is what you're gonna look like in, I don't know, 30, 40 years, huh? Just
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There was just something about those three movies for you, wasn't it? This movie,
yeah,
and then also that movie, and also Proud Mary. It's just
it's
something about all three of those movies that was just playing for you.
The same thing for me. We don't know yet, but
maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah, it'll be edited out anyway. We ain't gotta talk about it at all. But yeah, I give the movie a decent grade. I would support it just because it's Durham project. It's talking about our history. But it still falls on the line of some of the other movies that came out. I'll probably get a little bit more into it in our spoiler review. But what about you guys?
All right, so that's from the Black Empowerment movement there. So let's see what the NAACP has to say about this movie. Mr. Frank Puna, what are your feelings, sir?
Thanks again for having me on the show. And this movie, just like with Charlie, it really hit home with me. Seeing a movie that's actually set in Durham, and they're saying the name Durham in the movie. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
One of the actors, I forgot his name, the character name in the movie, but he was coming from Shaw University in Raleigh, and I'm originally from Raleigh. You're a professor. Oh, sorry, what was that?
Yeah, Bill Riddick.
Bill Riddick.
Right.
You went to Shaw University. Were you a professor there as well?
Yes, I was, sir. I'm a professor. I don't know what I taught, but I professed.
Okay. I thought I heard you say that earlier, but I thought you said you was a professor there. But all right. So, back to the matter at hand here. So, I got my bachelor's degree and master's degree there. So I spent a great deal of time in Durham, lived in the city, done some community service out there, had a couple of jobs out there as well. So it was very exciting to see a piece of history that of Durham that I didn't know too much about. And, upon doing the research and seeing it on YouTube more with Ann Waters and this whole story, it was very captivating. I was really, really excited and hyped going in to see this movie, to see what it's about. Also, one of the producers is Tobey Maguire, the original Spider-Man. So I'm like, Spider-Man, producers behind this movie, Tobey Maguire? I was like, okay,
Spider-Man. No wonder there was so much crime in the movie.
Yeah, I came into the movie theater with a lot of energy. And I thought the acting was pretty good, especially from oh my gosh, forgot her name right off the bat. Who played Anne?
Okay. We already got somebody on the show that don't know nobody's name. That's Chuck's job. You have to get your own job. Chuck is the guy that knows nobody's name. I'm okay with that. No. I can't be fielding two people.
So there's somebody else don't know no name, Charlie. You on that too?
Well, yes. I come in here. I told you I don't write anything now. Guns are blazing. So sometimes that means I don't know the name. And that's why I go to my man right here. Hey, what was that name? I know you know because you wrote it down.
Man, I'm glad there's somebody to write it down for sure. I love the soundtrack. There was only like 3 soundtracks, but I did leave home. Listen to Al Green. I'm so tired of being alone, so I love that soundtrack. There was a couple of Clap Your Hands. I love that soundtrack on the movie. The cars was definitely time specific, especially the clothing. The clothing was great. There was a lot of scenes out there. I was just glad that the movie was that took place in North Carolina. So I was definitely hyped about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
Overall, it seemed like it was very fast paced. I don't know if the pace fit with what the story was going on there with it, but I think we'll get to expound on that some more. So I'll go ahead and let you take over the set here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what I have to say about this movie. Let me go ahead and actually get back to my notes here. Oh yeah, man. I really really enjoyed this movie, and to me, this movie is all about Taraji. I think she is fantastic as a main character. She's got so much range, man. I remember I posted something recently about her, and somebody on Reddit was saying, "Oh, she doesn't have very much range." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You no, you're lying to me right now. Taraji has more range than almost any actress out there right now. I mean, it was so interesting to see her play this type of role because you just looked at What Men Want. I didn't see Acrimony, but she was in there too. Yeah, but what Men Want and Proud Mary, and both of these characters are very strong, but very sexy characters. A part of their strength comes from how they carry themselves with that sexiness, and they're also kind of fun loving in a way, particularly more so the main character in What Men Want. When you watch this one, like they stripped away all the sexiness, all of the attractiveness whatsoever. I mean, they make her have this scowl on her face all the time, and she has this angry walk, and she ain't trying to be sexy. She's trying to be in your face, and tell you what's what. Boobs are hanging. I mean, it's just he's just a completely different type of character. So Charlie muted his mic, so I don't know if he was laughing on that one or not. But I thought that Sam Rockwell did a good job on that one too. I'll get into it a little bit during the spoiler review about his characters. A couple things that, being from the South, I recognize that other people wouldn't. But I thought they both did an admirable job, particularly Taraji. There's a lot of comparison to me with this movie with Black Klansman, because it's black people and the Klansmen. But
shut up.
I actually like this movie better than that movie. Although Black Klansman, an excellent movie. I like this movie better. I really like to see what was happening. Let me see here. I'm glad that you mentioned the whole thing about not seeing both sides of it. And again, I'll get into more of that during the spoiler review. Me personally, I understand why it was like that. Because Sam Rockwell character, as a part of the KKK, he's the obvious villain. And the only way that he can make the transition from being where he was to where he ends up is that you have to spend time with him. What's the name? Taraji Henson's character is more like Captain America. Like, she's good, and you know that she's good, and you understand where she's coming from. So although they could have explored more about her, I don't think it was necessary in order to tell this particular story. Versus with the KKK guy, you're like, why would you, watching this movie, why would you ever side with someone like that? I mean, he's a hateful guy. Why would you side with him? So you need to see those things so you can kind of understand him a little bit. But I really enjoyed the movie. I definitely would recommend it to anyone. My only real complaint is the pacing at the beginning is really, really good. It's funny at points, but as it gets towards the end and it's a little bit more serious, it takes out some of that humor. It starts to drag a little bit, just a little bit. But if you can get through that, I think it's a really good movie. I think you'll feel good at the end. Interesting point: none of the movie was shot in Durham. Not a bit. I was looking. I said, "Is that Durham?"
No, Durham was completely different. They didn't remodel Durham. What about any place in Durham that, well, at least in the city part, that looks like it did in 1971?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I kept looking back. So, Rashad, you can't look back through time, so it's not Durham. But it was cool. But yeah, so Chuck, should people see this movie?
I think you definitely should see the movie. I think one thing that, I guess I have a mixed feeling. So you can pay to see it, but sometimes when we pay to go see these type of movies, are we really telling them we want something different in like the directing and writing, like a better story, something that's going to involve both parties? I don't want them to. So it's like I want you to go support it because it has my girl Taraji in it and it's about Durham. But then I also want things to be changed, so I might want them to stop bringing these same type of cookie cutter movies out with one-sided opinions, and we all cheer for the person that learned something at the end. I kind of want them to do a little bit more with kind of like how Remember the Titans. That's a great movie. to compare like both sides type of thing. But yeah, I definitely say go ahead and check it out. Make your own opinion about it. Don't take my word for it or any other guys here. Go ahead and check it out for yourself because it definitely has some great acting. And it's a good story. It's a good story about, America and how people grew.
And make sure you watch it actually at the movie theater, because just like every other Taraji Henson movie and pretty much every other black movie that's come out, it is not online right now.
Not online.
We tried.
Multiple times.
And yet, you want to see it, you need to spend some money on this. Frank, should people see this movie?
Should people see this movie? I have mixed feelings as well. There's a part of me says, support the movie. This is a part of history here. It's a part of Durham. There's black people that work on the movie sets in this movie. There's people who worked hard on this set. The movie wasn't horrible. It definitely wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen of all time or anything like that. I can't even put it close to that list. But there's also a part of me where it seemed rushed. It seems like everything was, hey, we want to tell you the story, but we want to tell you the long story short version of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, here's it. And it's like you can't rush that kind of history, that kind of power, that kind of influence. In addition, I like to see what a lot of people was thinking in the movie, like the kids. Like, the kids were also suffering, through this movie, but we didn't get to see a lot of what they were thinking. There was a lot of points in the movie where we saw the villain himself and his cohorts, go through their rambunctious activities. But we didn't see a lot of what was going on the other side. As Charlie mentioned earlier, Charlie has a lot of points that, for me being on the opposing side is kind of difficult to even disagree with them. So yeah, it's the mixed feelings I have is definitely go see the movie because it is a part of history. And Taraji puts on a spectacular performance with the limited script she had. I mean, and there was a part of me like I wanted to know was the main characters in real life was her diction, was her vocabulary capacity limited? Was that something they threw in the movie itself? But Taraji did. It was some stereotypical jaw jacking there. A lot of dialogue that left me like, okay, are y'all going to add more details to that? I want to know more. But with the limited script she had, she was still amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was still amazing. All that to say is, definitely go see the movie.
Okay. So it looks like overall we've got some favorable opinions on the movie. Still some things in Hollywood we want to change, but overall very favorable. So if you should go see that. You should also watch our spoiler review, and of course we'll go ahead and end this show because if you like what we did, make sure to give us a like. Make sure to leave a comment here. Let's talk about our new guest, Frank Puna. How did he do today? Let's see. Did he represent the NAACP very well? We'll find out. Maybe he'll share this video with his people and they can jump on and say, Frank was awesome. He's amazing. Best ever.
My international debut.
And of course, guys, as usual, you got to subscribe to the vibe. This, of course, is Color Commentary, where we give you views from a different side. Peace. All right, guys. So this is Professor Bill Riddick again here. We're here to part 2 of our charrette. I don't know what that is. It's a word that I made up. We're going to talk about stuff. We're talking about the brand new movie, The Best of Enemies, featuring Taraji P. Henson, as well as Justin Hammer. Sam Rockwell. We've got 2 opposing sides here. We've got the Black Empowerment Movement represented there with Mr. Chuck Taylor. We've got the NAACP represented with Mr. Frank Puna here, our guest for tonight. Obviously, they're both black because the KKK wouldn't show up and be a part of this. Chuck, let's go ahead and get into the spoiler review, sir. What do you think about this movie?
Well, I think, well, if you watch our non-spoiler review, we're going to talk a little bit. We're gonna regurgitate that a little bit, so it'll be okay. We'll get into more detail. But basically, I think the movie had, I guess, it was good and bad. You know, it had its good moments and its bad moments in there. And I see they were trying to show a story to really show how people can grow and change no matter how far of the opposite spectrum they're on. I think the acting with the two main characters, the two leads in here was awesome. You definitely can feel both sides and definitely see the passion in both of them as you know throughout the story, throughout the movie. But I guess the biggest thing that I just didn't, well, the biggest thing that I could see was that they still basically followed the same cookie cutter sheet they've been doing for the last, I guess, few movies that they've done with a lot of the historical racist movies. They show really one side. They really develop one character a lot more than the other one, and you kind of see the arc of that the other character, especially with the white character. Let me say that the white characters, they get more of an arc in a lot of their movies, so you see their change and their development on how they became, you know, however it ends. And a lot of times, especially on this one, they didn't really give her arc. Taraji's character, they gave her she was basically the same person at the beginning of the movie. She was at the end of the movie. You know, I mean, yes, they became friends and things. I think her views changed, but basically what I got, I didn't really learn a lot about her. I guess maybe the time it may they cut a lot of her story or her portion out of the movie from time constraints. I know a lot of times that happens when they edit the movie. You know, you have a great movie showing, but it's like, almost 3 hours, so we got to cut it down, and we really want to show this message of how this person changed. And I understand that they want to show the arc of the Klansman guy. What's his name?
CP Ellis.
CP. I'm just on CP. They wanted CP, so we know basically why would that type of person ever side with the person that he's supposed to hate, and really kind of dissect him and really show how a person became that way, and that they're not necessarily evil in everything, but they just have skewed views of life and what they think is fair. And I guess the one thing that a movie that I can say that does a good job of showing both sides is Remember the Titans. That's like one of my favorite movies. And I just remember the scene like when you saw the black players and the white players, like when they're in the room and you just see them basically going right at each other and like basically both telling each other how they feel about each other, but both also being able to hear and understand the other person's point of view and being able to see them grow. And then it becomes a friendship. It's basically the two captains of the team. So it kind of reminded me of her and CP in this movie. Like they both had to be locked in the room and both were the heads of their people and had to, come to some type of agreement. And then they become friends out because, we're not really that different when you break everything down. We just, the world and people that we hang around and stereotypes, all that stuff messes us up a lot of times,
Right.
And that's the sad thing about the human race. We let everything else dictate how we're going to treat each other. We don't look at each other just as human beings. I mean, you look at two kids that are different races, they'll play with each other. They don't have no problem with it. But as soon as the parents get around, that's when you start seeing them make their changes. Oh, don't touch them. Don't talk to those people. Those people are this. And we put our prejudice on. But I definitely think on that movie, you were able to see both sides and equally. You're able to see them equally. And then you got to see the transition. You got to see the hard things that happen to make them become friends. Like when they were just on Remember Titans one time, when when you saw them in the training camp sequence, and they're like working hard, and they're like basically having to run gassers all day just because they can't get along. And then finally it breaks them like, okay, we got to come to an agreement because I can't run these gassers every single day again,
Right.
man. Like, so we're going to have to do something. How can we help you? How can we work as a team? And basically, bringing those two sides together and forcing them to, make a decision for the greater good. And you got to see all the different little stories, even when they got back to school, how they start taking up for each other and friendships develop. On this one, it was rushed. You didn't see a lot of the why were they why did they become such good friends by the end of the movie? Why was she speaking at his eulogy? I know they didn't give us they couldn't give us all the details, but it doesn't seem that those little sessions that they had would have made that big of an impact that they would be that close of friends at the end of it. It seemed like it would have some life, some real true stuff that happened that made them like, okay, I really care about this person now. Just sitting in a room with them meeting for a couple weeks doesn't seem like it would do that. So I think that's one thing that the writer and director may miss. They should have brought some of those heartstring moments to really show why they care about each other in the film.
I guess with myself, I didn't really get the impression that they were close by the end of the movie. I think that's something that happened like over time. Like that's something that we don't see. I think by the end of the movie that they were able to come to an agreement. And from that agreement, then they was able to grow, from there. There's things that, that happen over the course of probably, 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. I guess it just was hard to kind of see some of that in the film. So I think that would have been, they would have brought some of those stories, maybe some of the other points of view, seeing how they came together on certain issues. Had those type of moments so the audience really understand, because we only get to see these characters for about 2 hours, so we're supposed to just all this magically happens and everything's good and I feel happy now. It's like it needs to be, with this type of story, it needs to be developed a little bit better. So I think they need to stop really rushing. They need to make sure they slow down and show you the grit and the earth and the stuff that nobody really wants to talk about. Maybe him standing up and really going after his party and really changing his ways with Taraji there type of thing. Like, I don't know, maybe they just should have had more moments like that in the movie. But what about you?
Okay. Well, Miss Puna, are you there, sir? I see that your camera is on. Oh, okay. I was scared the KKK had got you. Good, sir. What do you think about this? So this is the spoiler review, sir. So feel free to go ahead and say everything that you want to say. And of course, do not follow Chuck's example. Make sure to try to keep it at 5 minutes.
Yeah, you never gave us a time limit.
Hey,
it's only like
150
sure. show.
My bad. Am I on camera now?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. All right, yeah, man. Yeah, based on the true story movies, to me, for over the years, it's been difficult for me to watch because I always come in with the angle of, you have the true story itself and how it's told by the actual people that went through those events. But, when it turns into a movie, it becomes about not what the story is, but how the story is told. And that's and how the story was told is what bothers me about this movie more than anything else. Like, this story became about, there were several arcs going on at once because there was a one particular event that happened, and oh shucks, my battery's running. Okay. Had a little technical difficulty there. I should be back on the set. All right. So you have a fire at East Durham School.
Right.
And that is what caused a city that was segregated to come together. And, somewhere for me, that got lost because, the focus became on the villain, CP. And his journey into becoming a Ku Klux Klan king of North Carolina. Now, is now gradually accepting integration, accepting other people of color, and so forth. As I've mentioned before, the movie is, and Charlie, and you have mentioned yourself well, Bill, Rashad is freaking. The movie was way too rushed. There's a lot of minor details that could have been put in the movie, like for example, like I mentioned earlier, the kids. The kids are going through this the most. And if we could have had, like, some of the pictures of the kids having conversations with each other, they're the ones displaced. They're the ones going to a new school. What are the kids thinking here? Are some of them going to go to the same schools? Or some of them separated? Are they going to all go to the same school together? There could have been a little scene with that. And okay, phone is going crazy. All right, so also the charrette guy, I'd like to know more about him. They had like a phone call. They call him up. Hey, we know this guy here. This guy. All right, we're going to bring him on, and he's going to solve all our problems here. Hey, he said, hey, he has a good rap sheet of solving these type of issues. Can we hear more about this guy's history? Could we have a conversation of what he's done? Like when he meets Ann Waters and CP, it takes time to gain trust. I mean, they just threw him out there and say, hey, this is the guy you trust, and you should go with it. He's going to save the day. It's like, all right, let's see. And a lot of, again, there was a lot of, like the bar scene. There was a lot of scenes that were unnecessary to me, like the bar scenes. I'd rather have seen the kids were thinking instead of the little bar scene they were having. These guys having issues. We didn't see a lot of what the black people were going through, except when it was time for the town hall meeting. Yeah. And and this movie felt more of the redemption of the Ku Klux Klan king of North Carolina. I hate to phrase it like that, but it's just another. It seemed like it was like a. And there was just even the some of the languages and the dictions. I love that. I love the Southern twang, but there was just not enough intellectual dialogue. I know there's a lot more of Ann Waters than that was depicted in the movie. That's why I said I kind of questioned how the movie was even written and how.
That's her last name is Atwater. If she was Water, she'd be my king.
Oh, Atwater. Yeah.
And I want the money in the book deal.
Yeah, thank you. But that's just about the size of it. It was just how the story was told what really, really bothered me, and it seemed like a movie that could have been a documentary. It could have been a better documentary, and I've seen somewhat of a documentary. I think on YouTube is very good. It has some very good information. I don't know. I wish they could have at least picked off some of that and put their own twist to it. But yeah, it seemed like the basis of how the movie was presented to me, I would have been more happier seeing a documentary of this and seeing everything in detail in its totality on the history and how things happen and the chain of events.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, sir, for that. Let me see here. So let me get my thoughts on it. Kind of going back to the non-spoiler review, like I said, it's all about Taraji to me. I think she's fantastic as the main character. You truly, truly feel what she feels. Also, I think the movie is very informative. Like this whole charrette thing, I had never heard of that. I still don't know what it is really. But look it up and find out. But I never heard of something like that being done, and I thought it was really cool. In order to find out about it, I thought it was really cool to see that a professor from an HBCU had such a prominent role. Like, hey, we need to call this guy from Shaw. I mean, that's a big deal, that they could have called on anybody, but they decided to call a black guy from Shaw University and have him to bring in things. And I found out that he's a graduate of A&T, which is pretty cool.
Thank you, Brian.
I couldn't. A couple of things here. I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys, though. Okay. Some of the white savior stuff doesn't really bother me that much. Because that stuff happens. Well, why does it? I'm gonna tell you, okay? Because that stuff happened. Like some of those things like this situation, this particular situation, where you have a person in the Ku Klux Klan, not just any random person, but the Cyclops of Durham, North Carolina, changing his mind. That happened, and that's a story that needs to be told. I like the idea of really kind of getting into why did they think that way, because it's so easy to pass judgment on other humans and just say, oh, they're just evil, they're just racist, whatever. And that's exactly what they're doing to us. They just, those races look at us and say, oh, because you're black, you're this way, you're inferior, you're this, that, other. And we have a lot of movies where the Ku Klux Klan just shows up and they're just the bad guys. And they're just racist, and they're really one-dimensional characters. So for this movie, I like the idea of kind of digging and let's find out why he was like that. Like at the very beginning of the movie, there's a little monologue of the actual C.P. Ellis talking about why he joined the Klan, and he felt like he was finally a part of something. I like that. I want to dig into that. I don't mind that the movie spent so much time digging with his side, because, like I said, he's the villain. You don't have to have a reason, at least in my opinion, you don't have to have a reason to side with Ann Atwater. She's right. You know that equality should be there. Why is this person a racist? Why does he hate black people? And then not only that, but why should I like him by the time I get to the end of the movie? Like, you really have to dig. I do have a question, though. I wonder what was left out of the story. Like, for example, it seemed like the two things that really helped to convince him was the fact that Ann Atwater helped his son. His son was, for our viewers, his son was had some type of mental disability, and helped to get him into a separate room, or keep him in a separate room, as opposed to having another young man in the room with him, because that was just freaking him out. He really appreciated that. He didn't want to show that he appreciated it, but he did. He realized that she was a human being from that. And the other major point was that there was another guy that was a part of the charrette that was in Vietnam, a white dude. And he had a lot of respect for him as a person that has served in Vietnam. And he was very disappointed to see that the other members of the KKK basically shut down his business. And so those two things were we're led to believe that those two things were the main things that changed his mind. And I don't know. I feel like there would have been more. I feel like it would have, because he was not a good guy. I mean, he was shooting up people's houses. You know what I mean?
He's the king. He's the big dog of the group. So he's making decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Some of the things that KKK was doing, it shouldn't have really bothered him that much. So I really want to know what happened. I disagree with what you were saying as far as the length, because it's not a documentary. This story is meant to whet an appetite. This story is meant to say, here's a little bit of what happened. Now you go and go dig for yourself. There's a book. You can read a book. I'm sure there's plenty of information online. You can look up Bill Riddick. But I think this had to be presented in a way that it could reach as many people as possible. So it had to be digestible, a little bit. Real quick, there's only four things I didn't like about the movie. Okay, first thing, and I know Chuck, I know both of you guys can relate to this. I have lived in the South all my life, okay, and I know what an old redneck walks like. That walk that they have, that's ludicrous. I know what that walk looks like, and Sam Rockwell does not have it. He tries. You can definitely tell, like, more so than any other movie that I've seen. He actually tries to duplicate that walk. Like, most of the time when you're playing the races, you just walk regular. But no, he tried to get that strange walk that they have. But to a true Southerner, I can tell he's just trying to imitate it. Like, he doesn't know how. I mean, Frank, do you agree with that? I mean, they got walk.
He needed, somebody on the set needed to talk to him like he needs to walk like he just had a hip replacement or something. That's what that. Exactly. Somebody needed to give him a better direction on how he needed to walk, because he didn't walk like a Northerner or a Midwesterner or something like that.
Yeah, somebody just gave him a wadded up piece of paper, stuck it down the back of his pants. I'm like, all right, I need you to hold this between your butt cheeks, okay, while you're walking, okay. My other problem with this movie is the pacing. Initially, the movie moved forward with a great pace, and there was a little bit of comedy mixed in that made it digestible. But as you get towards the end and it gets a little bit more serious, it starts to slow down a little bit. So you kind of got to get through that. Let me see here. The movie is definitely about, the movie is about both characters. It's about Ann Atwater and C.P. Ellis. And there's literally a point in the movie, like, she sits down and you just see her face. And it's basically the realization that there's nothing else that she can do. And pretty much that chapter of the movie, everything dealing with her is closed. She's done. You don't see her again until the final part of the movie. So everything from there is basically about C.P. Ellis. I don't have a problem with it being about C.P. Ellis, but Taraji Henson was my favorite part of the movie. I hate to lose her for like about 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. I would rather have still seen that back and forth like they did earlier. And, the last thing is just the source material. Again, the white savior movies don't bother me, like I said, but I am tired of watching movies where a white person gets applauded for actually transforming into an actual human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that does piss me off a little bit. I don't have a problem with, white people helping. That's cool. I'm good with that because there was a lot of white people that fought and died in the name of civil rights for black people that didn't have to. I don't have a problem with that. But just to say, oh, you're actually a human being now. You don't want to kill black people anymore? Congratulations to you. You're a great guy. Like, it kind of pisses me off to keep seeing that. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. I mean, it doesn't piss me off from a narrative standpoint. It just pisses me off from a real life standpoint that there are so many people that have been raised that way, and their mind they have to understand. Oh my God, maybe I shouldn't kill people because they're different than me. But I really enjoy this movie. I think people should see it. It's an informative movie. It's great acting, other than that walk. But if you're not from the South, you probably won't even recognize the problem with the walk. Chuck, should people see this movie?
Like I said on the last show, I think you should check out the movie for yourself to see, how you feel about it. So I definitely say check out, because it's a good story about how people can come together from different ends of the spectrum, and they can work together and to accomplish a goal. And I think we definitely continue to do more of that in this world. Being able to work together and not being so divided off of everything. So, for that standpoint, I definitely think it's a good message to show, and you definitely need to watch it and you need to know about your history anyway. So, definitely go and check it out.
Definitely represent Durham. Durham,
Bull City, baby. Even though it's not
Bull City.
What about you, Frank? Should people see this movie?
Well, I think you've changed my view a little bit, Rashad, in the sense that
That's what I do.
for a historical perspective. I'm sorry, what was that?
I just said that's what I do.
He's tooting his own horn a little bit.
Oh,
it has some technical difficulties.
I can't get nobody else to for me.
Okay, all right, cool. But from a historical perspective, yes, if you want to get a little bit of what's going, of what happened, and then you want to go doing your research later. This movie will definitely captivate you to do that. It just happened to me that you guys encouraged me to go see the movie, so I said, well, let me do a little bit of research while I'm at work before I go see the movie. Typically, I don't do that. But I think from this point forward, I'm going to do that, or at least after I see the movie, I'm going to at least dig up and do some research and expound some more, because it was that was a very interesting story that I had no idea about. I've been taught a lot of history about Durham. Durham, North Carolina has a rich civil rights and Black history in that particular town, in this state of North Carolina that we're in, and I didn't know about that story, so. I'm glad you guys put me on to this. I saw the trailers and everything, but I wasn't really compelled to go see it. But I would encourage people to see it definitely for educational value. It definitely will. We definitely will come out there with a great information and a piece of history that everyone should know about.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, Frank. We appreciate you being with us for these two shows here. For those who, if this is your first time watching, Frank is not normally with us. He's our guest here. Kind of put him on the spot, made him redecorate his house, charge his phone, and pay for movie tickets. We're a real bad group. Yeah, we really appreciate him making all this sacrifice to be with us. And you can look for Frank coming up pretty soon when we're going to do a live and in-person review of Avengers Endgame. So you'll be able to see the man in his greatness. Don't just come for us. Come for Frank Tuna. Big Tuna. Of course, if you like what we did, make sure to give us a like. Leave your comments. What did you think about this movie? What did you think about our feelings about the movie? And as usual, you've got to subscribe to survive.
Now.
There you go. This is Color Commentary, where we give you views from a stop being racist side.
Please.
Please stop being racist.
All right, Frank, we appreciate you there, sir. We'll go ahead
and man, appreciate it.
Talk about this horrible movie where we take the sacrifice.
Yeah, I had a lot of technical difficulties here. I hope to edit, and I hope you're able to edit this very good, Charlie. I know it's quite choppy here, so.
I got you covered. I work with this man. He's made me great. His phone quality.
Yeah. I had fun, man. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was, especially with the lack of notes. I'm just imagining what I could do with more preparation, man. So, but no, I did have fun, yo.
That's awesome,
bro. We appreciate you. Do you have anything that you want to shout out real quick? Oh, you can shout out your show.
Man, I'd like to shout out to to all my peoples in Raleigh. Hey, shout out to all my peoples in Durham. And that's all for now. I'll be back sometime soon. So can't wait to see everybody again. And hey, to Chuck and Rashad, thanks for having me on the set. Thanks for inviting me. Had a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
No problem, bro.
Don't you want to shout out your football show?
Crickets.
Is there? Did you leave?
No.
I said, don't you want to shout out your football show that you do?
Football show. Yeah, football show? Or show? Yeah, another show that you're doing, Frank?
Oh! I thought it was still. I thought it went to you, Charlie. Oh, it's still on me. Hey,
yeah.
I'll still. Yeah. Shout out to the International Fantasy Football League that Charlie is in. And also to Lift It to the Lift It company that we on the come up. Watch out for us.
So Lift It company.
Lift It.
All right.
I'll have some apparel next time.
Oh my God, you got on.
Oh man.
You know, right. changing of the guards here.
Yeah, we gotta do though. All right, Frank. You have a great night, buddy. Okay.
Oh, this is Hellboy. You're in Hellboy mode, ain't you?
Yeah, we got one more show to do here. It never ends.
I'll let y'all go, man. I can't wait to see the Hellboy show though. I wish I could have seen it so I could go.
Hey, make sure to share it with your friends, buddy.
Absolutely. I'll check y'all later, all right?
All right, man. Be blessed, all right? Okay.
You too.
All right. On Friday, April the 10th, I was forced to watch a movie that I thought would be incredible. However, I found out that it was one of the worst movies I have seen in 2019. I'm talking about Hellboy. See my giant fist here? Oh, wrap that up right there. But kind of been cut back. Can't get the tax refund yet. Hellboy 2019. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible movie. The story of this movie is we were not excited to see it when the first trailer came out. Then when the second trailer came out, we were extremely excited to see it. And then we saw it, and well, let's just talk about it. We were going to do a non-spoiler and spoiler review of this movie. We're going to spoil this whole movie because it's just that bad. So let's go ahead and get into this. Hellboy 2019. Mr. Chuck Taylor, what are your feelings on this movie, sir?
Oh gosh, yeah. This movie makes you want to throw up a few times in it. Just be completely honest. It's not just talking about how bad it is. Some of the things that you have to witness in this movie. Oh my god! Like the worst things that I could possibly think that somebody could do with CGI, they do in this movie, and it just gives you nightmares. But just to go on the movie, just reviewing the movie itself, and I'm gonna take a lot from the first two Hellboys. This Hellboy, he was not funny. He wasn't funny, and his jokes did not land. That's what made Hellboy a really kind of cool movie to watch because the guy was funny. Like his jokes were funny, the acting with the other characters were funny. Like he just kind of screamed a lot and kind of made boring jokes that didn't land.
Right.
The story was very weak. Was very weak. I mean, it was kind of like you already kind of knew what was going to happen in the story. You knew he was going to be betrayed. You knew that he's going to basically have to make a decision to not destroy the world, not to basically go to his evil side, because that's about Hellboy anyway. We know he's from part devil. That's why he looks like that. So he had to. Hey, am I going to take the human side of me, or am I going to take the devil side of me and destroy everybody? So
I wonder which.
I wonder which I'm going to do. It definitely makes you think that he might just want to kill everybody, because I don't really see very many good things that happen to him with the human side. They were just like stabbing him in the back, trying to kill him. Like every turn, they would just turn their backs on him or call him names and stuff like that. So I don't know if he would be very close to the human side. He might would have just went to the monster side anyway. But
remember when he pulled up at the end, the dude shot him.
yeah, they pulled up to help them, and they shot him. So it was pretty crazy. But the story
now he finally knows how it feels.
Yes. When just the pacing of the movie is very fast paced. It has a lot of action in it. But the weird thing, the action does not transition well to the audience. They don't really care about anything that's going on. I still found myself bored and tired and going to sleep halfway through the movie. No matter how many people got blown up, how many people got cut open in gory way, how many ugly things they had to fight or we had to see, I fell asleep on this movie in the theater, and it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think it was a late movie. I wasn't tired, but the movie just doesn't draw you in. It doesn't have any type of story arc in it, and you don't care about Hellboy like you did on the first ones. Like you start at least care about the character. Kind of wanted him to win and wanted him to be successful in the movie. This one was like, okay, what is the point of this? What's going on? And then there are all the stuff that they have with the King Arthur stuff. I'm like, they just threw that in there just for kicks and giggles. Like, okay, now he's an ancestor of King Arthur, and King Arthur has this magical sword, Excalibur, that was able to kill the demon princess or whatever her name was from destroying the world. So I don't know, like that whole little story part, like they could have left that out and they could have came up with something better. Like him, like I don't see why they went that way. What's she like, the Blood Queen or something? What was her name? You know her name?
The main villain?
Yeah, the one that was in pieces all across the world and they had to put it back together.
She was.
Okay. So that basically they do have a little story that is an evil witch or evil blood queen or whatnot. That's basically they have a huge fight with the humans and the monsters, and the monsters about to win. So the humans are going to, try to make some type of peace arrangement, but they, sabotage her and, kill her while she's not looking, and they chop her body up with Excalibur because she can't be hurt by any other weapons. I'm just giving y'all a little brief detail so you don't watch it. And they basically take her body and take her to different places all across the world and Only a holy man can unlock it and take her body part. She's alive the whole time. She can't die, but she's just dismembered. So it's like a whole puzzle game with some weird looking warthog man killing uh, holy people and taking their tongues and speaking their holy language to unlock the boxes to bring her whole so she can destroy the world. And then she falls in love with Hellboy and sees that he's the actual devil and I want to marry him and destroy the world together. It's our destiny. So that's basically what the story arc was in the movie and why everything was happening. And I gave that to y'all in about a minute, and that's about how much it lasted. So you're welcome. You don't have to see the movie now. But other than what I gave you earlier, it was a complete waste of money. 9 rating was definitely well deserved.
That's a 9 out of 100, not 9 out of 10.
9 out of 100, not 9 out of 10, 9 out of 100. The Rotten Tomatoes score. It was completely rotten. It didn't. It's a horror movie. Just don't watch it. Don't support it. It has a lot of demonic and sick looking gross monsters on it. I'm all about gore and killing, and crazy ways of killing people when it comes to like movie and fight scenes and stuff like that. But this goes way beyond. I think they have one part, and I'm gonna let you go. When there's a psychic
Do I have
girl.
to go? I have to go.
You have to go, so you got to be prepared to come to you. There's a psychic girl that she can talk to the dead, right? But the way she talks to the dead, she has to touch them, and then basically their whole soul comes out of her mouth. But it's not like a spirit. It's more like their intestines and their body backwards come, like she regurgitates their body up, and you see their head. So all the guts and everything hanging, juices, this long thing is coming out her mouth, and they're talking to people. And she sucks it back up, and like goo comes out of her mouth. Oh, it's so nasty. It's so nasty. Oh, that was like the worst. Just thinking about it again hurts me. But yeah, hopefully that saves you guys some money. And we do this because we love you guys. But yeah, this is not a movie for anybody to see. What about you, Rashad?
Oh, there were some things that I liked about this movie.
Yes,
tell us. Yes, the graphics in the movie are actually pretty good. The CGI is actually pretty decent. I believe some of the stuff that I'm looking at, and the scene where he fights the giants and beats them, that's pretty cool. Okay, on to the stuff that I dislike. This movie is horrible, man. When I saw it had a 9 Rotten Tomato rating, I was like, it can't be that bad. And when the movie first started, it wasn't too bad. I was like, hey, this movie's pretty good. But the problem with this movie is they try to spend so much time trying to gross you out with hanging eyeballs, human entrails, and people getting brutally murdered that they forgot to make a good story. I was just like, Chuck, we were going back and forth, passing out. I was not, Chuck, wake up, bro, Chuck. And then because I had to ask him, what was the whole thing about King Arthur again? I don't even remember. That was his dad? Oh, it wasn't his dad. He was descended from him? Oh, I missed that because I straight was passing out. The story, it does not engross you at all. It's too much. I don't know how to explain it. And like Chuck said, the action scenes are not good because you don't care. I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong hand. The action scenes are not good because you don't care about the character, and everything is ugly and everything is gross. Hellboy is ugly. And I understand the direction that they went with that. Like they made his face kind of asymmetrical and gave him a bunch of scars because he is from hell. I get that. But the witch he fights is horrible. It's ugly. The spirits coming out of the girl's mouth, yeah, that's gross. And then again, the whole thing about you not caring about anything because Hellboy doesn't accomplish anything and his gimmicks mean nothing. So if you've seen the original Hellboy movie, I'm sorry, the big hand, the big fat hand. All right. He's got this big gun that he uses. It didn't mean anything. Like there's this big scene where he gets the gun. I don't know where it comes from, but somebody gives him the gun. It's got these really big bullets. He uses it one time at the end of the movie, and he uses it to fight the pig guy, and it does absolutely nothing. So the whole big gun was a complete waste. He's got this giant fist here that he does nothing with. He doesn't knock out anybody with the giant fist. It's a waste. Like, why do you have this giant fist? It's not even, I want to think like in the first Hellboy, I think he puts his fist into something, into like a door or something, and it unlocks something. Like, didn't that happen? I feel like that happened.
It's a long time since I've seen that movie.
No, this doesn't happen. It didn't happen in this movie at all. It doesn't mean anything. He's got a friend or somebody that works with him that turns into a jaguar. The jaguar does nothing. The jaguar attacks the guy. Pig guy just knocks him aside like he's nothing. What was the point of us waiting to see him transform? Even the last like 30 seconds of the movie when you get to see him again, he only shows up in like the last. He literally shows up for like 2.5 seconds out of 2 to 3 minutes of you watching the very end of the movie. What was the point? And it's not like they didn't have the budget for this. I mean, it's computer graphics all throughout this movie. There's probably nothing real in this whole movie. It's probably not. There's not a single shrub or bush that's real, and you couldn't spend another $15,000 to make one of the actual characters do something. The main parts of the trailer mean nothing. You see him flying around on this big fiery dragon with the big horn sticking out. Like, oh man, what's going to happen here? Nope, that's just a vision.
Yeah. But what could have happened?
Nothing. Yeah, what could have happened, right? Then, and the thing that got me so excited about the last trailer is that you see these massive creatures and they're just stomping people and picking up people and slice them in half. You're like, oh my God. You're like, how is Hellboy going to stop these guys? Like, you're really wondering. I guess he's going out on the fiery dragon. And you're like, no. He's going to stick his sword in the ground.
That's it. Our review.
Right? The sword that he shouldn't have picked up in the first place.
The sword and the stone, the King Arthur's sword, just so you know. So
yeah.
That sword that keeps getting used and remade in every other story. That sword.
Yep. That's that sword. The evil witch convinces him to pick up the sword. All hell breaks loose, literally. Then he chops her head off and puts the sword down. All hell breaks back in. The end. It's just
all happens.
This had the potential to be such a good movie because the computer graphics are good. The overall, if I was to give you the synopsis of what this movie is about, I could make it sound interesting. But again, there was just no point. There was no time spent on pacing things out in a way that made sense and made you care about the movie. And they do stupid stuff. Like there's this one scene, which is actually pretty cool, where he's sitting on a horse and he's like, this seems like a good place for an ambush. And the other guy's like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And then stabs Hellboy in the back, like straight through. Like that was actually pretty cool. But the end result of that is dumb because number one, Hellboy keeps getting stabbed like multiple times. And you're like, oh man, how's he gonna come back from this? Like, I can't wait for him to come back. No, he's not going to come back. They're going to throw him in the water and electrocute him. And then the bad guys that are stabbing him are going to get killed by giants that they knew were there. Yes. They knew the giants were there.
And they can see the remains of something that a giant just ate, so they know it's fresh. Like, they're right around the corner. Yes. Like, let me just focus on killing Hellboy and not worry about giants.
Exactly. See, I was thinking, I don't know if you thought the same thing I did, Chuck, but I just thought that was some big distraction that they made. That they killed those people and made it look like that so they could go take out Hellboy. No, the giants are really there.
A real writer would have written it. They would have like, it was a whole big thing that they were trying to do, conspiracy to get him there so they could kill him and they could stop the end of the world. Yeah, that makes sense. No, they decided, no, I'm going to trick everybody. Yeah, I'm going to trick everybody. I'm going to have them still have the giants around. And they betray old dude and try to kill him. And then they don't care about the giants, and the giants eat them. Yeah. That was great writing, guys. Whoever did that.
Yeah. It's going to be a short review here because there's nothing else to say about this movie. No. It's trash. I hate to call other people's work trash, but that's what you made. I'm sorry.
The actor that plays Hellboy needs to stick to Stranger Things. I like him in that show. He's the sheriff. on Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know, but yeah, he's not funny though. I'm sorry, you're not funny. You need to stick to serious suspense shows because you're not funny. At least on Hellboy, you're not funny. Sorry.
Go ahead and close it out there, Chuck.
Well, if you enjoyed the show, give us a like and please subscribe and leave a comment. But if we don't have anything else to say, do your closing.
You got KFH Party Z, man.
Oh, no,
And
see,
you got a
this
big
type of
Infinity War.
movie,
You're so
this type
upset
of
you can't
movie,
even remember your Infinity War party.
I don't even want to be. I don't want to be connected with this type of movie. They will be thinking of KFH. They thinking of Hellboy. Like, so. But yeah, I'm with KFH Party Easy. We do parties of all kinds. We have a nice, awesome event that's going to be on the 26th and 7th of April in game. So hopefully you guys can watch us our live review on that Friday in the theater, and give us some comments and give us some feedback online. We'll be on Facebook and on YouTube. So we'll see you then.
All right. And yeah, look for us live, man. Can't wait to see you guys live and direct at Frank Cinnabon. It's gonna be awesome. Avengers Endgame. Can't wait to see you guys.
Wait to see
Got
this
some big
movie.
surprises for you as well. Sir. Again, like Chuck said, if you like what we did, make sure to give us a like. Leave your comments. Tell us how we were wrong about this. Tell us how you love this movie, and we will talk about you like a dog. Or tell us how you agree with us, and how you're a smart person, and how you hate this movie. And as usual, you got to
Let's
subscribe to
go. Let's
survive.
survive. I'm sleepy.
This is Color Commentary, where we give you views from. You know what? Screw this, man.
Please. You see, I'm not dressed up. Like, I had to put on at least a character movie that I liked.
I'm done.
You done?